Shit's now synced, mate. We're fucking good to go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever podcast on the channel of Verdugo.Vibes. I'm a little bit fucking awkward right now because, I don't really know how to do a podcast, but this is my first time doing it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I need to speak in front of this microphone, not on the side. So if you guys are new to the channel, here on Verdugo.Vibes, I'm going to upload hopefully 1 to 2 podcasts every single week. This will also be uploaded onto SoundCloud as well, so you guys can get the audio experience while you are, studying and whatnot. If you are a university student like myself, if you are at work, if you're in the car, jump on SoundCloud, like the fucking episode, and cheers. So this first podcast is going to be literally a discussion about fucking nothing. I just want to speak about what's been happening in my life as of recently, what I've been up to, what the channel is going, like where the channel is going to go, probably towards the end of this year. Also, I'm going to go into a big topic for me, which is going to Japan in approximately 27 days from now. I'm pretty fucking nervous. So, where the channel's progressing, first off for the topic, my YouTube channel. I've been doing the Wardrobe from Scratch series. If you guys aren't aware, the Wardrobe from Scratch series on this channel is dedicated to me selling most of my wardrobe and starting everything from scratch. Most of my garments I sold. I kept a few items that had a bit of sentimental value to me and stuff that I really just bought just before I sold everything, so it wasn't even worth flipping or selling it for under retail. So what I decided to do is I sold most of my garments and did everything from the beginning. But the downside to that is I'm a university student, which means that I don't have a lot of money. I am a broke motherfucker 99% of the time. Also, on top of that, to make it even worse, I am saving for Japan. And buying garments in Japan can be very cheap or expensive, depends which route you want to go. If you want to go solely designer and go to fucking Rick and Yoji all fucking day, that's going to be very expensive. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to the thrift stores in Japan, and that's a topic we're going to talk about very, very soon. So with the YouTube channel, that series on its own is not enough for content, and I am very, very aware of the comments that I've been getting. Vibes, you need to upload more, and yes, I do. But like I said, being at uni has its consequences. I am pretty much graduating. This week has been a very, very big week in my life because it was my last week of university. Being at uni for 4 years, doing marketing at La Trobe University, Bachelor of Business in Marketing. So that in itself, 4 years is a fucking drainer. Being broke for 4+ years, it sucks. So finally, once I've graduated, once I've passed all my exams, which haven't happened yet, hence why I'm not doing as many videos. After that, I will be graduating when I come back from Japan, and that's going to be a very, very big day. I didn't know what to say right there, but you kind of get the gist. So I will be graduating on the 16th of December, and then I get my results, I believe, on the 6th of December, and that's when I will be in Japan. I'm going to be in Japan from the 22nd of November up until the 13th. So if anyone is in Tokyo, staying in Tokyo, if you guys are flying like an Aussie dude like me, flying over there for 3 weeks, let me know, man. DM me on Instagrams. I want to catch up with everyone that watches my videos. I love to meet new people, and I love interacting with new individuals. So if you are going to be in the area in Tokyo, just shoot me a DM. So with regards to the whole graduation ceremony and everything like that, my exam period right now is fucked. So I have 1 week of SWAT vac. If you guys aren't aware of SWAT vac, it's basically a week after your semester period where you get that week to catch up and study and do all that type shit. So with SWAT vac, that's kind of a big deal because you have 7 days, which is 24 hours times 7 to do all the study that you can in order to pass all the exams. And one thing for me is that I used to cram. I crammed everything the night before, and that's not a good thing to do. So this semester, being my last ever semester, my last ever exams, I want to knock it out of the park because I will get my results on the 6th, and I plan on getting absolutely fucking smashed in Golden Guy that night when I find out I get my results. When I do pass everything, I'm going to get absolutely hammered. It's going to be a good one. So the main topic that I want to talk about today is Japan and why I'm obsessed with Japan, why I absolutely love the culture, the atmosphere, every single individual in Japan. I love everything about it. Being an Australian dude, we do have our benefits. Flights are really, really cheap to Japan. They've been cheap over the past couple years. My first ever trip back in 2016, I believe, in August, I ended up paying, that first trip was about 340 Australian dollars, return with luggage, everything. Like, that's fucking cheap, dude. Second time around was about 360 to 370. And this time around, because we've extended it, it's been over about probably almost the 400 range. Just because initially we were going for 12 days, but this is the last time we're going to go for a very long time. So me and my girlfriend did decide to extend the trip for 3 weeks, and it's going to be one of the best experiences of my life yet again. So that is something to look forward to. But we're going to talk about the first ever trip. First time I've ever been out of the country. Something that a lot of people my age do, but some people don't, and it annoys me because you need to. I think when you go out somewhere without your parents, you go with just a friend, or in my case with my girlfriend, going to another country that, for starters, doesn't speak English. That's not the primary language in Japan. And a culture that is completely different to Australia is a really, really good experience. I'm like semi under the weather. Fucking hell. So please excuse me having to have a sip of water every fucking 5 minutes. But the first experience of Japan, I really got to get a good understanding of what the outside world is like. I think at the time, what was it, 2016 was the first time I ever went. I would have been 20? Pretty sure it would have been, 21. 21, 22, 23. Yeah, would have been 21. So I was 21 at the time, and I was a very oblivious individual at the time. I still am to today. But going back to when I was 21 years old, I wasn't aware of I wasn't aware of the outside world. To an extent where I just thought the Australian culture as it is, like, that's what everywhere is about. Apart from Argentina, because I've been there a couple of times. As you guys know, I'm Argentino. I don't know if Argentina is labeled as a third world country. I'm not quite sure, but it obviously is a little bit of a different culture over there compared to Australia, where crime rates are pretty low. Let's be fucking real. It's a very, very safe country. Going into Japan, though, it was something that I was going to experience for the first time, not being able to speak to someone in my beautiful Australian accent. So going there, I didn't know any Japanese. I knew my 1 to 10. That was basically about it. I knew hi and bye. That's it. So going with my girlfriend for the first time was pretty weird because there were a lot of bad things that happened on that trip, which I'll get to in a second. So we arrived there and we stayed in Harajuku in an Airbnb. And that Airbnb was the first time we've ever bought an Airbnb or hired out an apartment. So that place had no elevator and it was 6 stories high. 6 stories or 6 flights of stairs, and you have no elevator and you have to carry all your luggage, everything. It's a fucking drainer. It's the biggest drainer that you could ever experience because I had to walk up and down those stairs, every single day. Now, getting onto the main dilemma of our first trip wasn't the weather, because that was the second dilemma, but the first and probably the most fucked up thing to happen on our trip was my girlfriend tore a ligament in her ankle. Oh, I feel like an asshole laughing right now, but looking back at it, it's a story to tell, and that's what I'm going to tell today. So I think we were about probably 7 days into our trip. We were still settling comfortably to Japan and the culture and what the hell are we eating, like what the fuck is going on. We rarely went out that much, like out until 5-6 o'clock, because we were very nervous. Like, it was very, very weird, but in a good way. So about 6-7 days in, we decided to go out and explore Omotesando Hills. Omotesando Hills is a district in Tokyo, which is basically a district which dedicates itself to a lot of high-end designer outlet or department stores, such as Celine, Saint Laurent. I know they have a CDG store, which is pretty dope. They've got all like the basic outlets too, like Adidas and Nike and stuff like that. So, going through Omotesando Hills, let's just say we could have sued Japan for what happened. We could have sued the council in Omotesando, bro. That's how fucking real shit was. we're walking in front of Zara, and then Renee walked over a loose tile, and then all of a sudden twisted her ankle. I don't know what the fuck happened in that split second, but she fucking fell on her knees and then face planted on the floor. And I looked and I was borderline laughing. I was like, oh, that was pretty funny. And then I see her face. That's when shit got real, dude. You know when you're laughing and then you're like, oh wait, I'm not supposed to laugh at that. And then you're in that sticky situation where you're like, I don't really know what to do. I saw Renee's face and I was like, she's in fucking pain. That looked like it hurt. We didn't realize how much pain, I didn't realize how much pain she was in, but I can tell from her face she was in fucking agony. Mind you, there's all these Japanese people walking past and couldn't really do anything because A, they don't speak Japanese. Sorry, they don't speak English. And B, they're probably looking at us like, who the fuck are these two white people doing on the floor? What the fuck are they doing? So after minutes of trying to work out what was going on, we eventually caught a taxi back to our apartment, which is about a 5-minute drive. Got back to the apartment and probably the biggest struggle in Renee's life, going up those 6 flights of stairs with a torn ligament. That was probably hell. Yeah, that definitely was. So after like hours of trying to figure out what the fuck are we going to do, like is our trip going to be cut down short, or we have to fly back home? Do we have to go to a hospital? Well, before we even thought of that, we tried thinking, where's the first aid kit? And the actual Airbnb didn't even have one. Can you fucking believe that? So that's why we left a really, really bad review. But after hours of debating what to do, we decided to go to a hospital in next to Omotesando Hills, which is about a 5-10 minute drive by taxi. So after arriving to the hospital, they pretty much said to us, there's nothing we can do. The English was pretty good. The environment was pretty weird because everyone was in like gowns and stuff, like night gowns, and where they're like, what the fuck? Like, what? We don't really belong here, do we? So after, I think we spent like a couple hours there waiting to get served, and by the time the doctors got to us and everything, they told us that yes, she has a torn ligament, she needs to rest, and she can't walk on it. And we had booked Disneyland and Disney Sea right after that trip too. I believe we went to, did we go to Disneyland or Disney Sea our first trip? I'm trying to find out for you guys. But I mean, 7 days into the trip and you want to get a torn ligament, that's not something that you fucking want in life. So basically my girlfriend stayed in the apartment the whole time and didn't leave. I had to go out to the 7-Eleven, which was literally like a 5-minute walk from our Airbnb, cop some food, some really, really weird food for that matter, being 21 and only loving westernized fucking food and loving pizza and burgers and shit. I was a little bit uncomfortable trying the Japanese food, I'm not gonna lie. But one thing led to another, and I'm still trying to find if we went to fucking Disney or not. Can't. I don't think we did our second time around because we had already been. Not to mention the experience at Disneyland and Disney Sea was very bad. Oh, you guys are probably thinking like, why the fuck? Why is it shit? Rob, what the fuck? And I'll tell you why. The weather was really bad. August time is summertime in Japan, and I didn't know how bad summer could be in Japan. It was 41 degrees for pretty much our whole trip. It was 99% humidity. I was 20 kilos heavier back then. I was a fatter dude. I wore all black for self-conscious reasons. Yeah, you do the math. So, yeah, that in itself was fucking terrible. But, I mean, I really recommend Disney Sea over Disneyland. That's something we can all can agree on. Disney Sea was a whole lot better than Disneyland. I just think the whole atmosphere of Disney Sea was a lot bigger. It just looked more... The scenery looked a lot nicer, if that even makes sense. It does. Disneyland, however, was just all buildings and just... It's for kids, man. If you're an adult, I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're an adult with kids. If you're stuck between the age of 18 to 22, you're going to have a bit of a weird time. You're either going to absolutely fucking love it because you love Disney, or you're absolutely going to hate it and be like, what the fuck am I doing here? Where are the hectic rides? And that's where Universal comes into play on my second trip. So apart from those two experiences that I had, another thing I want to discuss mainly is why you guys watch my channel is for the fashion related content in Japan. What the fuck's the fashion like over there? And it's different. It's beautiful. It's exciting and extravagant, all under one fucking roof. So being 21 at the time, If you guys were watching my channel about 2 years ago, you know what the fuck I was into, dude. I was into that Virgil Abloh off-white fucking aesthetic with the Kanye West Yeezy boost, camping out for the 350s back when they were reselling for $1,200, $1,300. Boy, was I a rich boy, man. Oh, camped out for moon rocks, flipped them, fucking adored the fucking profit that I got. But going back to Japan, I absolutely loved the Virgil Abloh off-white store. It just opened just as I got there and thought we need to fucking go, being a hypebeast individual back then. And a little bit to today, there's a tiny little sprinkle of hypebeast in me. I'm going to admit it. But going back to that, I absolutely loved the whole atmosphere and the whole concept of the store itself. It was beautiful. It's something that I would highly recommend you go to, even if you don't like Virgil's work. It was a good experience, but on the other hand, it was very pricey. The exchange rate back when I went the very first time was very bad. I believe it was 68 Australian. I think it was like 68 cents, sorry. Second time around was about 78-ish. 72, 70, between the 70s. I can't quite remember. So the first time I ended up buying a off-white, I think it was called the Slash hoodie or the Overwash Black hoodie. It was one of my favorite pieces I've ever had in my collection. Even to this day, I fucking loved that piece. It had off-white and a gothic font across the hood on the front of the hood, if that makes sense. Right on top of the neck. It had off, and then the back was detailed, so it was like a lion or a tiger had slashed your back, which created these 3 slashes across the back, and it opened up and had like a mesh back, so it wasn't just showing your back, like your t-shirt underneath. It was very subtle, and the whole wash of the hoodie itself was just overdyed. It wasn't black anymore. It was like, when you wear something black for so long and it starts to turn orange. That's what it was like, but it wasn't so over the top, if you get what I mean. So it had that along with I think on the bottom had off in the red font, which is like on most of their pieces. So at the time, that was like $850 or almost $1,000 at the store. That was fucking outrageous. I ended up paying like $700 or $650 back on Farfetch and got it shipped home, which is a fucking really bad thing because I had to wait my whole trip to get it. So along with going to the Off-White store, I did have my first experience at Ragtag. I lost my Ragtag virginity, and I can think exactly where I was. Harajuku was my first ever experience at Ragtag. I think from the top of my head, I copped the Yeezy Season 1. It was like a military sweatshirt. It was extremely thick material. The sweatshirt had side slits, and then on that side slit had the material from like a chest rig. It was really dope, man. It was very oversized, and I was still a really big fat fuck over there. So it still fit, but I just didn't really wear it. I didn't really know how to style it. And it also had a half zip too. So you could either just wear nothing underneath and just wear the half zip and that's it. Or you could like wear a hoodie underneath or just a simple tee, turtleneck, whatever it may be. That piece really worked, but I just didn't really wear it enough. And apart from that, the hoodie, the Yeezy Season 1 sweater, I don't think there was anything else much I copped. Those were 2 very primary key pieces. But second time around was a lot more of a different experience because I had a better understanding of what the Japanese culture was like when I was in Japan. At the time, I've been to Japan once. Sorry, I've been to Japan every single year for the past 3 years now. So your boy's getting a bit knowledgeable in the Japanese culture, fam. So second time around, I did have a better understanding of the culture of Japan with regards to food mainly. Styling wise and fashion wise, I was just mainly into my Rick, and I still am to today. I just can't really afford it as much. So the experience of my second trip in Japan really revolved around Rick. I absolutely loved that Rick store. It was one of the most beautiful, if it was actually the best experience I've ever had in a store, by far, hands down. It was different because my mindset going into Japan and approaching stores was really negative because of the fact that when I walked in, I always thought I was going to get judged and I would get looked at and say, hey, are you going to buy something? No? Get the fuck out. That's basically what the culture is in Australia. You walk into a store, a very high-end store for that matter. You walk in, you don't look like you have a lot of money. You look like you're a bit of a kid. You walk in and they look at you up and down. They say, hey, do you want any help? No? All right, and they fuck off. They brush you over the side and they look at you expecting you to leave. If you don't buy anything, why the fuck are you walking in our store? That's the same kind of mindset that I had going into Japan. And boy, that was a really bad mindset to have. I walked into that Rick store. It's located in a district which I can't remember off the top of my head, but that district itself had Issey-Miyake, Rick, Yoji. Those are the 3 primary stores that I can remember off the top of my head. There's a lot more variety. I think they've got helmet laying as well. They've got a helmet laying store. So my only mindset, my only goal in life was to go to Rick and get Creech cargos. Well, for starters, they don't have Dark Shadow, so that's really not going to work. They did not stock anything Dark Shadow, only mainline pieces. So walking in, I was wearing, I believe off the top of my head, second time round, by the way, I was still 20 kilos heavier. I was still wearing all black, which is a bummer. Wearing my Uniqlo pocket tee, the really thick pocket tee. Those were still fucking sick. That with my Rick Owens mainline cargo shorts, beautiful pair of shorts, and Ramones and black socks. Always got to wear black socks. So going into the Rick store, I was like, yeah, these cunts are going to know exactly why. Like, I'm not stupid. I know what this store is all fucking about. Looked at me, and the guy that worked there, his name is Young. What a fucking legend. This guy approached me. He said, "Do you need a hand with anything?" And I said, "No, I'm just having a look around. Is that okay? Like, if I just look?" And he said, "Yeah, it's fine. Take your time. I'll just leave you be." And I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I really, really wanted to get footage. I really loved the store, the whole design of it, the architecture of the store. They've got a statue of Rick. I'm pretty sure at the back of the Rick Owens store is a statue where it's like the nose of a bull molded into Rick Owens' body and then shaped up, and it looks fucking impeccable. It's one of those, just you go there, you flex, take a photo with it, and that's it. So after getting a photo with that, I looked and like tried to look for the Creech cargos. I asked Young, I said, "Hey, do you guys stock Creech cargos?" And he said, "No, we've only got mainline garments, no Dark Shadow." Which was fair enough because you're at Rick Owens' store. Why would they stock Dark Shadow? So after going through all the pieces, I was very overwhelmed because I didn't know what I want. I had no idea what I wanted, but I knew I just wanted a pair of trousers. I wanted a pair of pants from Rick because I'd heard good things about their pants. I knew that those pants would fit me. Rick Owens trousers, if you are a bigger dude, man, and if you're like 36 to a 38 waist, even pushing 40, Rick's got those bigger sizes, man, and they still look fucking amazing. So if you are in the market, buy them secondhand, obviously. Go ahead and look for him. So I just looked, couldn't find anything, and I asked Young, I'm like, "Hey, I'm looking for just a pair of trousers. What can you recommend?" That is a very, very broad question from a consumer if you're looking from a employee point of view. And straight away, he looked, grabbed a pair of crop trousers, said, "Hey, try these on. They're a size 50, which is about a 34 to a 36. See how you go." Man, were those the best fitting pair of fucking trousers I've ever put on my body, man. Those, I had to sell them, obviously, for my series, but those are the best pair of trousers I've ever owned in my life. I wore them 4 to 5 times every single week for the past year since I've had them. The pants are actually called the Rick Owens mainline drawstring cropped trouser. And if you are wondering, they are in the TE material. It's a /TE, which is one of Rick Owens' most iconic materials when it comes to Rick, because it's such a heavy duty piece. You put it in the wash, you wear it once, and it already molds to your body again. It never loses its shape. The only downside to those pair of pants is that it was a very, very extreme drop crotch, which meant that I have to wear something elongated or wear a long line black tee. Always, I had to wear long line black tee and those trousers just to mask the diaper effect that I've had a few comments on. So after he threw me those, I thought, fuck yeah, I'm buying them. I don't care how much they are. They ended up being about 780 Australian after conversion, which wasn't, I mean, that's a pretty extreme price, knowing I see them secondhand for about $350. But at the end of the day, I got my money's worth and I'm extremely happy with my purchase. Renee, on the other hand, thought he got something, which means I need to get something too. And she ended up forking out a Rick Owens side bag, which I'm pretty sure is made out of lambskin leather or something like that, or made out of lambskin or something extremely ridiculous material. And at the end of the day, that was the best experience I've ever had in my life. One of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life in Japan, the second time round, was actually at Kawwn. Now, you're probably thinking Kawwn is like such a notorious Japanese iconic brand. Everyone loves Kawwn, man. If you're into that shit, it's dope. The store, on the other hand, was very, very different, dude. I loved the Kawwn pieces. I knew going into Japan second time around, and maybe even the third time around, I want to go back and get a Kawwn piece. I really fuck with them. Second time around, I knew I was going to buy something, but I didn't know what I wanted. As always, Robert Verdugo never knows what the fuck he wants in life, and when he goes out to buy something, he never knows what he wants. So, second time around, we actually went to Tokyo halfway through first we started off in Tokyo, and then we moved over to Osaka for the remaining of the trip. So it was like split. I think it was like 4 days in Osaka, 8 days in Tokyo, or 7 days or something. So we dedicated a trip from Osaka back to Tokyo and back to Osaka in 1 day. Now, if you don't own a JR pass, that would be very, very expensive. JR pass is an extremely good thing to have if you're going to Japan and plan on exploring different parts of Japan. So the JR pass itself lets you use the bullet train for free. Not really for free, but you pay to use it in advance. You use the JR pass to go on the bullet train wherever you want to go, and you can use some of the some of the public transport lines within, let's say, Tokyo. If I want to get to one district to another, I can use those lines using the JR pass. Not to mention, from Osaka to Tokyo is 3 hours and 43 minutes. And it would cost you almost 15,000 yen, which is about 170 Australian dollars one way. When you're on the bullet train as well, it's going fast and you can feel it. My girl got motion sickness. Started really badly. She got motion sickness and I got a little bit drowsy as well, just from that trip. And that was only 3 hours, pushing 4 and back 2, so it's pretty fucked. But going back, a bit of rambling here, but going back to the Kawwn experience, it wasn't cold. It was a semi-warm, rainy day in Tokyo. I remember exactly that day. It was wet, it was raining, I was still wearing shorts and a singlet because fat boy vibes. But the Kawwn experience was weird because that mindset I mentioned before about being judged, I experienced that at Kawwn. I walked in and there were 2 Japanese employees, looked me up and down and brushed me to the side and thought, nah, fuck this dude, he's not going to buy anything. I'm walking in and I thought, fuck, the place is really interesting. It's really great. The floor itself is glass, so you're almost looking beneath the floor above you, but it's also reflected glass, so you're just seeing through nothing. And the racks, I mean, there were up in total 15 pieces. All of them were pretty shit, let's be real. They were just fluorescent yellow, fluorescent orange. If you're into that vibe, fuck yeah, man. But I wasn't into that. I was just into black and white and that's it. So I really wanted an outerwear piece or a t-shirt or something. I made my way from Osaka. I needed to pick up something. I wasn't leaving empty-handed. So I looked at some of the pieces and I found something pretty dope. I asked the lady, I said, hey, do you have a size large? And she just looked at me and I knew she understood what I said, but she just said no. Just flat no. And then I looked at her, I looked at my girlfriend, I looked back at her and I thought, what the fuck? Okay, like, is that it? I said, okay, do you have any other sizes? Like, it's obviously, being in Japan, you gotta keep your words very simple, very clear and precise. So all I said was, do you have any more sizes? No. That's what's there. Like, fucking clear as day. I thought, what? Okay. Either A, she's in a really bad mood, or B, she doesn't really understand what I'm saying. Fair enough. So, and then she walked back, talked to her friend, and we're just probably talking shit about me and my girl. Let's be fucking real. So, kept looking at some of the pieces, and I found a hoodie. And it was a very, very nice hoodie. It was on the rack. I had an extra large, and I thought this might fit. And grabbed it, and I looked at the employee. I kind of got her attention. I said to her, can I try this on? And she said, yes, here. And I looked, I borderline almost pissed myself. I thought, what? Wait, what? Looked at my girl, I looked back at her again. I was dumbfounded. I'm an idiot when it comes to that shit. I'm very awkward in tight situations like this. I looked at her, I said, excuse me? And like, obviously not in a rude tone. And she said, no change room. Change here. And I was like, pardon me, motherfucker? What the fuck? You're Kawwn. You are such a notorious and iconic Japanese brand. Everyone that's from outside of Japan fucking loves Kawwn, and you guys don't have a fucking change room? You've got to be kidding me. Being a big fat dude back then, bro, 20 kilos heavier, boy was I self-conscious on this shit. I was not happy at all, dude. I did not want to just get changed in front of, imagine if there were other customers. We were the only customers in there, by the way. We were the only ones there. What if it was packed and I wanted to try on a pair of trousers? You want me to take my fucking shoes off and my fucking pants off, balls deep in a new pair of Kawwn fucking pants, and there's people around? Nah, that's not fucking happening. Nah. I was so annoyed at that point, especially walking in and getting a shit vibe in the first place. I was already pissed. I looked and was like, alright, I'm gonna fucking try it on, piss off, I'll do it myself, but obviously didn't say that. I thought, okay, I'll try it here. And she's just standing there. She's standing right in front of me as I'm trying this on. You know when you take off, because I think I was wearing, I don't know if I was wearing an outerwear piece or something over the top, but you know when like you put on a hoodie and then when you go to take it off, your t-shirt starts unraveling and your flubber starts coming up, man? Yeah, that's the kind of vibe that I got when I was trying on that fucking hoodie, dude. So tried it on, did not like the way it fit. Obviously, big dude. Yeah, it didn't fit. Took it off, and that's where I exposed my years of carbohydrates. All that went straight to my gut, dude, and everyone could see it. So yeah, after trying that hoodie, I thought, nah, fuck this, man. Get out of here. I don't want to experience this anymore. I walked out with my girl, and it ruined my whole day. I will be upfront and honest, it ruined my whole fucking day. I don't know if the two employees didn't really understand English, if that's just the way they spoke, but I've been to Japan twice. Like, that was my second time going. I knew everyone in Japan are very, very nice people. They're one of the nicest individuals on earth, hands down. So running into these two people, it was like, oh, it's like what I've been experiencing was a joke all along, and this is how like people actually act. But I thought, no, that's not how it goes. No way. Because at the end of my trip in Osaka, everyone was still nice. Every single store was like, everyone would treat you so well, because everyone in Japan loves to talk to Australians or talk to white people or English, because we speak English and they want to speak English too. They thrive of learning to speak English and speak to someone that doesn't speak Japanese, because it helps them in the long run. It helps them get a better job. It helps them branch out of Japan and go to a different environment and use the English language to their advantage. So walking out of Kawwn, I was really fucking pissed. It was raining. I had a singlet on, and yeah, that was fucking shit. But Renee said to me, look, Rob, it can't ruin your day. Like, it's just a store. We get that all the time in Australia. Don't worry about it. Like, let's just continue on and experience Tokyo, because we're not living here now. Like, we're not staying here, sorry. We're going back to Osaka, and at the time, we didn't like Osaka, so that's something I'll get into soon. So we ended up going to a pizza joint, which was called Pizza Slice, and that actually had some really great pizzas. Like, obviously, you're in Japan, you're not going to fucking go out and buy pizza, Rob. What the fuck? But I had tried all my ramen, I had a lot of Japanese food, and thought, I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. One friend recommended me Pizza Slice and decided to try that, and it was fucking awesome. Very New York type vibe. So, but going to the next topic, which was Osaka, and why I didn't quite like it, was because the people were very different. The people were very, very different in Osaka compared to Tokyo, and I've heard many things from other people who've said the same thing. Osaka's it's a different environment. Obviously, like, I'm the type of person, when I go to a city or go to a different country, or obviously I've only been to Tokyo, dickhead, but going somewhere, I want to experience a very fast-paced, city lights atmosphere. I love the energy of Tokyo. I thrive off that. Osaka, on the other hand, was a little bit dull. It was just, I don't know, it was just going there, this is kind of dope, it's alright, I prefer Tokyo, what the fuck are we still doing here? That kind of thing, So, obviously, I still there was like I didn't even know there was like a river, like almost like a lake river that ran through Osaka. I didn't even know that existed. But, other than that, I went to a ragtag there. That was pretty shit. I didn't really have anything. They had a few key pieces, but nothing fit, obviously. Fucking hell, man. That's why I jumped on keto. And that's a good topic I'll talk about in the next podcast. The ketogenic way is the fucking only way for me. So Osaka was pretty shit. And yeah, but the ragtag experience in Tokyo on my second time round was a whole lot better and a whole different fucking playing field. Gucci Horsebit loafers for, I believe, $85. Rick Owens mainline trousers from 2009 for about $100. How fucking great is that? How fucking great is that? Those are my two most beautiful cops. I still have them to this day. I'm never getting rid of them because they have a big place in my heart because it's a fucking steal, dude. And ragtag is one of just the most key. Oh fuck, I can't get over how fucking good it is. It's a very mainstream type of thrift store. That's something I'll put out there. Kindle and ragtag. They're like the two primary mainstream high-end outlet secondhand stores. But the good thing with ragtag is that it's not curated in a point where it's one specific style. They've got everything. You can go and find like a very streetwear skater type vibe. You can go grunge and punk. You can go fucking westernized, or you can go Japanese. They curate for everything, and I need to stop tapping the fucking table. They curate a very, very good selection of garments, and one thing I always wanted to buy and I could not find it was North Face Purple Label, which is only in Japan, and that's something I know I'm going to get third time round. Kindle, on the other hand, is more hype beast and more extremely high-end pieces. So Saint Laurent, Margiela, The Soloist. They've also got Yeezy Season. I remember off the top of my head that Yeezy Season. Hyder Ackerman they had as well. And also, I'm pretty sure I saw a pair of Wyatts for about $1,400, and that was secondhand. That's very, very expensive, to say the least. But Kindle is good if you are still a hype beast and love your Supreme stuff, because they have a whole fucking sick collection of Supreme. But if you're still looking to get some high-end pieces and you want to buy them secondhand, sometimes you can find a good steal. So I know there was the Hyder Ackerman Perth hoodie. I believe that was about $550. That's actually a pretty good, decent price for being secondhand. And yeah, other than that, Kindle and ragtag for me were my two primary go-tos. I tried to go to every single ragtag that I could go to, or that every district I was in, I need to go to the ragtag. I ended up going to the one in Harajuku, I went to the one in Shibuya, and also the one in Shinjuku as well. There's like heaps of them in the same district. So I tried to get my money's worth in Japan and try to experience all of them. I couldn't really find a lot of garments because, one thing, it didn't fit. If you are a 6'4" dude and you're pushing over 200 pounds, yeah, nothing's really going to fit, dude. I'm sorry to say, you might have to get shredded. Because shit doesn't fit, man. An extra large is like a small, and it sucks. But on the other hand, though, if you do want to try and find something that's more in your liking that will fit bigger, you obviously go Rick, or you go to DSM, Dover Street Market in Ginza. I went there the first time and also the second time, and that was also a really good experience. I believe it's 8 to 9 floors off the top of my head, I think. 8 to 9 floors of just pure goodness. Beautiful. Oh, so atmospheric. Like, I don't even know if I pronounced that right. The atmosphere in that store is beautiful. It smells elegant too. That's one thing I noticed, is it smells fucking sick. And also, some of the floors were curated to streetwear. Another one was more westernized, and also one was like dedicated to just solely Japanese culture or Japanese type style. But in terms of DSM, the prices as well were still very fucked up, to say the least. I couldn't really find anything within my price range. I was a cheapskate still, so yeah, that's kind of the issue. But yeah, overall experience at DSM is something that's really unexplainable, and that's something you have to experience for yourself. I remember off the top of my head, one of the floors at DSM had Gucci, and they had a whole like half floor dedicated to Gucci, and the collection itself, I believe back then, was the whole Donald Duck wave, if I'm not mistaken. That was very interesting, but the whole atmosphere and like the whole gallery, if you could call it that, was really good. And they also had a wall of Visvim shoes, which was fucking crazy. You literally on that escalator, you're just literally riding the escalator up to one of the floors, and then boom, there's just Visvim shoes everywhere on one massive wall. As you just look and you're like, whoa, this is fucking crazy. So that's one thing I'd really highly recommend, is going to DSM, Dover Street Market. Fuck me, dude, that's really nice. So apart from the DSM experience, there's really not much else I could really say apart on my second trip, because I only ever experienced Kindle, Ragtag, DSM, and that's really about it. And Rick. I didn't attend this EC store. I didn't go inside Helmut Lang. I didn't go into Yoji. No fucking way in hell, because I still had that mindset of, hey, are you guys going to judge me? Do I have to buy something to be in here? So that's something that I'm really going to try on my third time around. Not solely that I'm going to go in Yoji and fork out $1,200 on a pair of trousers, because that's not going to happen. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to experience it. If they say, hey, you looking for anything? No, fine, fuck off. I'm going to be like, fine, whatever. I'll just look and then leave. It's not like they're going to say that, obviously. But that mindset that I've had is just going to disappear my third time around. Now, Issy pleats is another different story, because Issy pleats over there are really, really cheap. So that's one thing I'm going to cop. Next up, my third trip around is going to solely be based on fucking thrifting. And by that, I wasn't aware of this until now. I've been watching a lot of the Casuals videos. If you guys aren't aware of the Casual, he is a guy that's dedicated all his time and just has a passion for Japan. So he is really big advocate for thrifting and mentioned some of the thriftwear locations. And one was Shimokitazawa. God, am I excited to attend that place, man. Shimokitazawa is a district near Shibuya and Shinjuku and all that area. It's a very young, hipster, indie type crowd and is dedicated to thrifting. All the stores over there are mainly thrifted, and you can find places such as, I don't even know what the place is called, but this certain store only sells stuff at 500 yen, which, if you want to do the math, that's around 7 Australian dollars, borderline $6 for anything. And there was one rule to that store: you have to hand make your pieces, which is insane. That's fucking insane. You've got Japanese people who are really, really into their garments, who have skill and knowledge in designing clothes, and you can purchase their shit for 500 yen. You have got to be fucking kidding me. That is absolutely fucking insane. So that's one store I definitely want to walk into and hopefully get a few pieces. Along with that, there's also Chicago and Flamingo. Chicago, I believe, doesn't have anything over 30 or 40 Australian dollars, and that is including outerwear, which is insane. Usually outerwear pieces here at a thrift store run you 150 to 120, and that's thrifted. So that's another great location. Flamingo is a similar vibe to Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. And there's also heaps and heaps of other thrift stores, which I'm not aware of the names, but you just look through the alleyways and you see, and you're like, oh, that's thrifted. Let's go in and have a look. That's the kind of vibe and the kind of mindset I'm going to have going into my third trip. Because my budget this time around is going to be a lot smaller than my second trip, and I really want to be able to utilize the funds that I have and make sure I pick out each piece carefully. And also, I'm going to the Acne Studio store. I'm fucking going to pick something up. Duh. Rick, maybe. I'm a little bit debating on that, because Rick can still be very expensive unless it's a sale. But I think that's just going to be it for today. I've been talking for fucking almost an hour, and I'm a little bit fucking G'd to go to work now and make some coin. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you do want to stay up to date for when the next podcast is going to drop, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at Verdugo.Vibes. I usually post a story on podcasts, on little sneak peek previews. And if you want to just talk to me about certain topics that you want me to talk about in the podcast, any related theme, topic, whether it be like technology, whether that be music, lifestyle, fitness, the ketogenic diet is something I'm going to talk about very, very soon, because it's something I'm a big advocate for. And just anything about in life, dude. If you want me to talk about it, send me a DM. And also, if you are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. I will upload one video every single week, because your boy is fucking keen to make some more videos. If you are watching this on the SoundCloud link, please leave a like. It shows a lot of support towards me and gets the podcast out there for other people to see, and kind of gets a bit of engagement of what you guys like to, if you guys like it or not, obviously. So yeah, with all that being said, I will leave a nice, beautiful tune to leave you with your day. I'm going to have a beautiful Friday working Uber Eats and delivering a lot of fucking orders to these people who enjoy food as much as I do. So I will leave you guys to it. Enjoy. Have a good one. I'm out.